Peninsular Malaysia, which is right here, and the second is Sarawak and Sabah region. So these are the areas which are very important for the Malaysian, which are considered as the core interest of Malaysian. Malaysia's exclusive economic zone in this region is also a very important issue. And because of the Chinese presence and Chinese claims over South China Sea, this issue has always been under some, contentions. Why? Because Malaysia's exclusive economic zone sometimes overlaps the Chinese claimed areas. For example, China believed that this area, South China Sea, belongs to China, and their 9-dash line, is Chinese area of interest. But here comes the clash, and the both countries sometimes they clash over the exclusive economic zone claims. Both countries claim, but Malaysia, being a weaker party, never resort to violence or aggressive behavior because China is very powerful and aggressive. So this issue is contentious, and still it is under negotiation between these two countries. Malaysia also got interest in South China Sea because South China Sea possesses a huge amount of, you can say, hydrocarbon resources, as I told you before, and of course the abundant fisheries, because this particular region, South China Sea, is about 3.7 million square kilometer area. It's a huge area, and because of the because of the huge area, you have got huge abundant fishery resources which contribute a lot in their economic growth. So if you analyze more, it also hosts Malaysia's major ports and business centers, and is the transportation route for 80% of Malaysia's exports and imports. The Strait of Malacca, for example, is very important region for Malaysia because 80% of Malaysia's exports and imports, it has to pass through this narrow corridor, which is called Strait of Malacca. So Malaysia explicitly regards any encroachment into Strait of Malacca as a threat to its national interest, defense, and sovereignty. So this is the reason the Malaysians have declared that any involvement, extra-regional involvement or regional involvement to block this region would be directly impacting the national sovereignty or national interest of Malaysia. So they take this region very importantly. The Strait of Malacca is one of the main international maritime routes and services almost the entire east-west maritime transportation. That's the reason that this particular region, a narrow choke point, is very important for Malaysia, and of course for the other regional and extra-regional powers. So it is basically a connectivity of this region, Far East, with the Southeast Asia, and of course South Asia, and of course from the oil supplies from Middle East, and it all come through this region. So this region is very important for Malaysia. The strait has the potential to become a conflict hotspot, which could negatively impact Malaysia's security and defense. So they believe that in future this area could be a hotspot, and the Chinese and the US, their interest in the region, their hostilities may lead to blockade of this particular region. And if this region is blocked somehow, it would be a huge setback for the global economies. So that's the reason that Malaysia's standpoint is that the Strait of Malacca should be free from external powers involvement or any regional entanglement. So this is the reason that Malaysia always regard this particular area as a very important and core interest area, because it's vital sea lines of communication pass through this region, and global maritime traffic, of course, pass through this region, which is Strait of Malacca. Malaysia is ready to provide bases to Americans for operational and surveillance purposes. So that is the idea behind, because they have got issues with the Chinese, and to counter China, the Malaysians are trying to invite America to have bases in their country. But it would invite backlash from China. And in a few years back, the Chinese premier visited Malaysia, and Malaysia conveyed this message to the Chinese premier that the hosting the Americans on their soil does not mean that